As a channel about atheism, I talk a lot about all kinds of different stuff, really. But one thing I very rarely talk about is the atheist soul level. What level are we at? Are we at a high level? A low level? How many soul points do we have? And how much soul XP do we have to gain to get to the next level? Luckily, I found a video to help with this. It's called Atheists and Different Soul Levels.
When I be online and I be seeing these atheists and stuff,
Ugh, I could almost physically feel the contempt in that expression. So I take it you're not a fan?
like somebody made a post about God and then some mortal commented on and it was like, God doesn't exist.
Some mortal? Are you not? What are you then? Suddenly I don't care about the soul level thing. I want to hear about this.
So then I responded and I said, you don't exist.
Got him. No, you. Pow.
What is wrong with your brain, bro? Like people who don't believe in the Most High.
Well, nothing anymore, I don't think. It seems to be running pretty well. I famously did have to get it replaced a little while ago, but I gave the old one to my wife, so keep an eye on her.
And I don't bash anybody because I understand that every soul has its own path to take.
Asking what is wrong with your brain doesn't count as bashing? Alright, then I think we have a very different understanding of that term. I'll keep in mind, though, for later that this is understanding and not bashing.
That's when you get into like the different soul levels. Like what is a soul level 1? Soul level 1 is someone...
Ah, good. We're getting into the educational section. This seems like a better use of our time than arguing about who does or doesn't exist and with which brain issues.
You know, and I was inspired. This whole thing that I'm about to break down, I was inspired by Brother Yosef. He's one of my master teachers. I learned a lot from him.
All right, that seems fine. I don't think he would mind if he's your teacher. What does he teach? What subject are we even talking about here? Soul levelology? There's got to be a better term for that, right? I assume the field already has established terminology that I'm just not familiar with.
But a lot of things that he taught me just confirmed what I already knew.
Huh. Sounds like you might as well have not even bothered then. You were basically a master soul levelologist already.
But soul level 1, that's a soul that's new here to planet Earth, and you can tell.
Oh yeah? How so? Are they really curious because they've never been here before? Licking metal poles in the winter to see if their tongue sticks to it, that kind of thing?
They stay in and out of jail, in and out of prison. They make poor choices in life.
Oh. You know what? That's not what I would choose to do the first time around. The first time around, I'd want to be figuring out everything about the world that I'm in. It'd be later after I've gone through a few times. Then I'd start to get bored and do stuff like that. You know, once you realize you're stuck in a loop, you're not going to keep doing the same old thing. You want to shake it up a bit, have some excitement.
They're very wild, obnoxious, rambunctious. Because they're new to the planet, so they're discovering everything.
Yeah, but if you're new and you want to discover things, why are you getting yourself sent to prison? I guess there's some stuff to discover in prison, but if you're there for 10 years, it runs out pretty quick. Better to go sailing away on a ship, discover a new tortoise or something. But maybe the point is they're too new. They can't even think about it in those terms. Kind of a baby soul situation. Decades of terrible twos. I suppose that makes sense. Well, I've never been to jail or prison. Most of the atheists I know also haven't. Some of them do make poor decisions, I have to say. Some of them. If that's you, cut it out. What's wrong with your brain, you baby-souled idiot? I'm not bashing you, dumbass, I'm just saying. Now, I'm also not wild. I do boring things like sit and read, which I guess is also not very rambunctious behavior. I am told that I'm sometimes obnoxious, though. I might even be obnoxious right now. So that's what, like 20% of the criteria that I meet? Am I soul level 1? No, I don't think I'm soul level 1. That's good, actually. That means I'm higher up on the scale than I thought I was going to be. That look at the start, I was like, I'm going to be soul level 1 for sure. But I guess even I'm not that bad.
They don't understand that if I commit this crime, I might get locked up. They don't think, you know, they're a new soul.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so I was right about the terrible twos thing. They're the adult version of that kid who's the reason why all the bookcases get sold with that little strappy thing that you screw to the wall.
Then let's go up to soul level 2. Okay, what's the soul level 2? They live like the normal life, white picket fence, family, married, husband and wife. They go to church.
That sounded a lot like me for a second there, but I guess it's not. I don't go to church and my picket fence is blue. Or red, or to be honest, I can't really tell. It's definitely not white, so this is not me, which means I must be at least at soul level 3, which sounds pretty good, although I don't know how many soul levels there are. For all I know, there could be 10,000 levels. I'm not coming into this a master soul levelologist. Okay, I'm going to actually learn something here. This is not just teaching me what I already know, like it was for you.
They believe in God, but they don't really know God. They don't really understand that God is an extraterrestrial being.
In the sense of being physically from somewhere other than Earth in the universe? Or in the sense of just not being a being of Earth? The second maybe I would understand. The first one's just a straight up alien. Is God an alien? That's not what I thought the idea was, but maybe that's a problem with my soul level. Or my brain. Is this thing working?
God is an extraterrestrial being that flies in spaceships and stuff.
Oh, okay, that clears it up. Thank you.
They don't know about the Galactic Council. They don't know about the mothership. They don't understand the ancient world.
So, when I say I'm an atheist, I'm not really talking about the mothership or the Galactic Council. Although now that you mention that stuff, I don't think I believe in that either. But this doesn't sound like a god as much as an alien civilization. I feel like these concepts might be getting muddled up here. Are you sure that God is the term you meant to use?
They don't know about the Elohim and the Anunnaki. They're not that advanced, but they're like surface level, like a regular Muslim, regular Christian.
So like people who believe in an actual God that has God properties and does God things, as opposed to a critter that flies around in a spaceship.
Clapping hands in church. They're surface level.
Look, I can understand the concept of a surface level religious person who just goes and listens to some guy drone on for however long and dances and sings and claps hands in church and everything and enjoys the social atmosphere. That's a thing, but that's kind of being conflated with you being very surface level if you're a Christian or a Muslim at all, because you don't believe God flies around in a spaceship. I think that's more than a little unfair to, well, theists. People who believe in a God as opposed to whatever this is.
They live a normal life. They believe in the government.
Is there not one? Or do you mean they like the government? Listen, you're talking as if this is a general prepackaged belief system these people have. Here are the things they all believe and don't believe, and I guess like and don't like. The way you're describing this, there's not a lot of room for variation. What happens if you have a Christian who goes to church and claps the hands and everything, but also becomes convinced of the Anunnaki? Does that person ascend to level 3? Or stay at level 2 until some critical mass of higher level beliefs is reached? Or are there intermediate levels between the levels? 2.1, 2.2. What's the progression system here? Is someone in charge of it? Does someone grant you a new soul level like a belt in jujitsu? Or is it more just sort of a categorization to ease communication? I need to know, okay? I'm here to learn.
That's a soul level too. Very normal.
You can just say normies. We're on the internet. We'll all understand. Okay, so level 2 is normies, but you've specified a lot of things that don't apply to me. In a lot of ways, I probably am a bit normie, but in other ways, I'm not, so I'm confused here. By the way, I don't know about the Galactic Council and the spaceship god and everything, but the Anunnaki and the ancient aliens crap, that is normie tier conspiracy slop at this point. That stuff's been on the History Channel for like 20 years, hasn't it? I remember seeing memes of the bird hair guy well over 10 years ago. If you want to do the whole super special secret knowledge thing, I know something you don't know, all that stuff, get more creative, come on.
Then you got people like me, soul level 3.
So I bet there's not 10,000 levels then. After that little gesture, I'm thinking there's no way you're going to put 10,000 levels above yourself.
Okay. Soul level 3, they don't trust the government.
Yeah, why would they? Probably at least half of them are Anunnakis. Stupid lizard people coming into our country telling us what to do. And the other half are assholes.
They were very wise as children. Listen. I know my soul is very ancient.
I can tell, I think it's the glasses. They give you an air of authority. It screams old soul. If you're running around doing crimes, going to prison and stuff, are you going to have glasses? No, probably not. You're too busy with the other stuff, and besides, you're so wild and rambunctious, you'd probably keep breaking them. I was going to say with such an ancient soul, you've probably been on the Galactic Council once or twice, but you know what? That sounds like a government. That's not the kind of thing you'd be getting mixed up in.
When I was little, I basically behaved the way that I do now. People used to, I'm Gullah Geechee, so they used to be like, that gal grown. That gal done been here before. That gal grown. Meaning I was very grown acting for my age.
Wow, that proves it. What more evidence could anyone need? The only explanation is you've been reincarnating for millennia.
I rarely got beatings, if any.
What? You got beaten? That's horrible. What the hell? Actually, never mind. You said I rarely got beatings, which is terrible. If any, so possibly 0. You don't remember. You may or may not have at some point been beaten. You don't really know. How is this in question? I'll tell you right now, the number of times I got beat is exactly 0. And if it was any more than that, I'd be able to tell you about it. So on average, that puts me at a lower level of beatings than you, because you got between 0 and rare, and averaged out that's somewhere in between, and I got exactly 0. I was obviously the wiser child, so I must be at least soul level 3.
It's like I just knew if I do that, I'm going to get a whipping.
A whipping? What the fuck? Where did you grow up? Iran? Well, yeah, I'm not surprised that fear of physical retribution would keep you from doing things. The fact that you choose not to do things on that basis isn't really a reflection on your maturity. It's a reflection of how terrorized you were. I am sincerely sorry that you had to go through that. That to me is not acceptable at all.
You know, soul level 3, they're very advanced. Look, 144 on the time. I cannot make this up. 144 on the clock.
Oh wow, that is a number that can show up on a clock. I never thought about that before, probably, maybe. Rarely, if at all.
But, I know I'm a chosen one.
The clock has chosen you to experience the thrill of it almost being 1:45.
But like soul level 3, they question everything.
Tell me that's not me. Again, I gotta be level 3 at least. I'm thinking higher though.
They believe in God and they know God.
But see, that's not me. So on level 1, we have people who are in prison all the time. That's obviously not me. Then we have 2 levels of people who believe in God. Now, these are the only available levels down here, which means the level for people who don't believe in God and also don't go to prison all the time has to be even higher than 3. You see what I'm saying? So I'm up there, man. I'm starting to think I might even be a 6 or a 7.
They get spiritual downloads. These people, they tend to be like mediums, channelers, prophets.
Oh, so scammers. Gotcha. Well, I'm above these kind of poor choices in life. Clearly, some of that's still hanging on at level 3. I'm way beyond that. So, if you want some teaching from a more advanced level, I'm right here. You're more than welcome to come talk to me. I want to help the people understand. I want to spread my knowledge. It's very important to me. So I'll do it for cheap. Not more than $10 a minute.
Yeah, like I was saying.
She's coming back from a cut right here. I don't know if the Uber Eats guy showed up or what, but she clearly had to stop for a few minutes.
Soul level 3, we are advanced, curious souls. We tend to be like teachers and prophets and things like that. You know, we truly understand the spirit world. And then you have the highest of high. You have advanced souls, soul level 4.
Oh, 4 is the highest. But is it the highest or is it the highest yet discovered? I might still be at level 6 or 7 and you just don't know about those levels yet. Those levels are only known to people above level 4. Okay, we don't tell the plebs about this.
They are your master teachers. They would be like a Dr. Debert Blair.
Dr. Debert? Pff, I'm definitely higher than level 4 then. I don't know who that is, but I'm definitely higher level than him. After all, people who call themselves doctor are buying into the prestige of academia. They're using its honorifics. That's low level stuff. That's some low vibrational frequency or something. Do you see doctor or anything like that attached to my name? No. You can't even spell doctor with the letters of my name, but you can spell DR from Debert, so he's got doctor basically showing up twice. Normie.
You know, someone like Christ, like Jesus, he would be considered like a soul level 4. A lot of soul level 4s, they descend to earth to teach humans, to teach the masses.
I see. So we got Dr. Debert on the same level as Jesus. Did Dr. Debert descend to earth too? Whatever, who cares? These are irrelevant people. They look like little ants from way up at my level.
A lot of them would say that they're not even from earth, but they volunteer to come here to earth to teach the masses.
Now that I'm thinking about it, when you say they come to earth, considering that God is just some thing that rides around in a spaceship, I'm guessing you don't mean they come down to earth from heaven. It's more like they live on Mars and then they fly over for a conference.
So that's a very advanced soul. They tend to come from like the 5th and 6th and 7th dimension.
Okay, all right, not Mars then, but same kind of idea. Which dimension is Dr. Debert from? Is it the same one as Jesus, or are there different level 4s that come from different levels of dimensions? Are the 7th dimensional people stronger than the 5th dimensional people? Because they can influence the 5th dimension, but the 5th dimension can't influence the 7th? Or even just because the bigger number's bigger, and that's better because it's bigger?
You know, but yeah, I just wanted to explain the different soul levels and the soul cycles and stuff like that.
Cool. Why?
So yeah, back to the post. The person was like, oh, God doesn't exist. I said, you don't exist.
Got him. Still.
You're a creation, right?
Okay, then you exist because you are a creation, which was created, which means you exist and you are something. Sorry, go on.
You don't exist.
Okay, but see, if you're created, you do, though, because otherwise you weren't.
You're on a floating rock. You can be unalived at any minute.
Yeah, but see, you are there. You can be unalived, implying that now you're not unalive. See, this is existing, is the problem with the thing. Sorry.
And then people say things about, how could God unalive men, women, and children in the Bible? What kind of God is that? And I'm like, he's God. God.
You know, that's true. The God in the Bible is God. I don't know what it has to do with the question, but it's a good observation.
He's God. He can do whatever he want to do.
Well, yeah, obviously. But the question's not really about what he can do. It's more like, is this consistent with the all-loving, omnibenevolent kind of claims that you usually hear? And then you argue about it for thousands of years.
It may be evil to you, but who cares?
Me, I guess? If I'm playing the role of the one in the example who's brought this up. Now, if what you mean is God's more powerful than you, so fuck you, your opinion doesn't matter in this scenario, I think you're probably right in the sense that the one wearing and using the boot probably doesn't care that much about your opinion. I get that. But again, that's typically not the point of the question, if it's being asked by a relatively thoughtful person.
He's God. Do you understand that?
Right. Yes, I do understand that. That's why we're using that word. It all makes sense now.
He's the creator.
Yes, I think that's generally part of the concept, sure.
He can do whatever he want to do. If you create something, you can do whatever you want to do.
Assuming you maintain power over what you create, sure. You're capable of doing it. You have the power. However, as an example, if you create sentient beings with the intention of making them suffer for no necessary reason at all just because you feel like it, it's pretty hard to argue that you remain all-loving while you do it. See, there's more where the issue is that's at the center of this discussion.
And listen, even if what he does and we call it evil is righteous, he's the Most High.
Look, he's at level 4, guys, okay? So if Jesus or Space Alien God or Dr. Dilbert wants to do anything he wants to you, he can do it. It's fine. He's level 4. They're the highest of the high, as was previously stated. So shut up and take it. And by the way, this is a really good reason not to train your kids with corporal punishment in the home. Aside from obviously many other reasons, but when force and rank are taken to objectively define right and wrong, it can lead to thinking like this. I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. If I beat your ass, it's right because I'm bigger than you. It creates an attitude that justifies beating the weak and helpless for your own amusement, and then laughing in their face when they dare to suggest that perhaps this is not the most loving of actions, which is a culture I personally would rather not contribute to.
El Shaddai, Yahweh Ishwa, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisa, Jehovah Rapha, Yahuwah, hallelujah.
Gesundheit. I don't get it either. It's okay. Can't all be winners.
You know, and see, that's why, you know, with religion, you don't really comprehend the creator the way that you should.
Is the bigger, tougher dude who can do whatever the hell he wants stop asking questions? No, that's pretty typical religion.
You don't.
I've made lots of videos about lots of people who understand it exactly that way.
People go to church, they go to the mosque, they don't really understand the Most High. They don't, y'all.
Yeah, they think he lives outside the universe or some dumb crap like that, instead of in a spaceship. Pfft, idiots.
They don't. We're talking about a being that created angels and demons and aliens, even though he would be considered an alien because anything outside of Earth is extraterrestrial. We serve a extraterrestrial being. Do you know that?
Well, epistemologically speaking, no, I probably don't, but I'm aware of you having said that. This is not the first time you mentioned it. You should be aware of that. I've been making jokes about it ever since.
Mary was impregnated by an extraterrestrial being, bro.
Right, which means that when you say he's the Most High, what you mean is he's a strong alien. So this whole he can do whatever he wants to you thing is not about some transcendent reality. He's, I assume, not some eternal source of objective morality. He's some kind of organism with a high-tech spaceship and some sort of machine that spits out people, assuming he doesn't just spit him out of his dick, as apparently was the case with Mary. But so, he's tougher, he's older, but he's fundamentally in the same general category of thing as you, which really does make it sound an awful lot like all these arguments about if he made you, he can destroy you and do anything he wants to you also apply to your parents, your grandparents. They precede you and created you as well through some sort of physical means, and they're capable of exerting force upon you. Maybe there's some distinction that you'll make that makes these clearly different, but not so far. Yeah, God is an alien. Kind of misses the point, I would say. But what do I care, really?
We're talking about someone Him and his angels, they fly in spaceships.
What do you mean by spaceships, anyway?
UFOs?
Okay, so stock standard, I saw a flying saucer over Roswell kind of stuff. If it was at least something cool that sounded god tier and awesome, somehow beyond the reality that we experience, that'd be something at least, but nope. Blinky lights, blurry photo of a dumbass looking spaceship. Okay.
Not all of the things, the people, when they say they have these sightings in the sky, not all of them are little green big head men with big black eyes. Some of them, it's the Elohim, it's the Most High and his council, it's the Galactic Federation.
Galactic, so not even universal. God's not in charge of the universe. There's hundreds of billions of galaxies out there, but he's not in charge of them. Just this one, and he's a politician. He's just the leader of the Federation. We're shrinking the concept of God at light speed here.
So I don't think when people talk about God, they don't really understand him like that. That's why people think they can just sin and fornicate and do whatever they want to do. Don't you know that fornication has consequences?
Consequences like being punished by spaceship God? No, I don't know that actually. You know, the reason why hell is such an effective threat is you have this being that's beyond all reality. He's everywhere at all times. He knows everything you're doing. He has total power to do anything he wants. And if you don't do what it says in the Bible, he's tossing you into hell for eternity. For people who believe that, that's a pretty effective threat. But meanwhile, you got Spaceship God, who shows up occasionally when it's not the little green men instead. Although, honestly, I don't know why we're ruling out God being one of the little green men. No idea what precludes that possibility. But he shows up occasionally and what? Abducts a cow? Shows up on some website in a picture that's definitely not photoshopped? Maybe our Gina Maria starts shouting about seeing him in a cloud. And then you're like, hey, now how's that for stopping you from fornicating? What? What's that supposed to do? What's he gonna do? I'm gonna die of old age by the time he gets here from the other end of the galaxy, and then he'll show up to try to zap me for my sins and go, he's already gone. Damn it, not again. And then 2 galactic years later, he'll get voted out of his leadership position anyway. Just the concept of this is so much less impressive than an actual god. It has nothing on that in terms of discouraging behavior. Psychologically, it's just not scary enough. Hell, you couldn't even make it a universal federation. At least that would sound a little bit more imposing. But no, he's just some petty despot ruling some backwater galaxy. Probably got assigned to the governorship way out here because he screwed up some other position.
I saw a post online, y'all, and the post said, "Who's had sex yet in 2026?
Ooh, that person better watch out. God might show up sometime in the next several decades to take revenge for that one.
And I commented, I said, I'm sorry, but I don't feel like fornicating. Don't you know that fornication comes with consequences?
Look, I don't want to get probed in my house just to end up getting probed in a spaceship, too. That's too much. I'll chafe.
STDs, child support.
Wait, no, we're not talking about practical, mundane consequences. This is supposed to be about getting punished by Space Lord. The point is that once you believe in that, then you understand that you can't just sin and fornicate, because some sort of consequence will come from that. Avoiding STDs and child support don't rely on you first believing in Spaceship God.
Unholy soul ties.
I have no idea what that means. In fact, I don't even know what unholy means in this context.
Baby daddy, baby mama drama.
More generic consequences that have nothing to do with, Sky Daddy. In this case, that term's totally accurate.
It's consequences. It's almost like we should follow God to be okay.
Or you could just go, here are some consequences that I would rather avoid. Okay, I'll do that then. Tacking on obedience to Spaceship God doesn't seem to be doing much of the heavy lifting here.
A lot of the things that we go through, we can avoid it if we be obedient and follow the Most High.
You could also avoid them by just avoiding them. If you care that much about the consequences, and the consequences are that easy to consider, then it's a pretty straight line. Why do we have to go zigzagging across the galaxy for this? But what is the implication here then? Is it that if you get an STD or you end up having to pay child support, that is Spaceship God punishing you? He doesn't send you to spaceship hell. He just makes your life kind of worse sometimes. Not all the time either. Apparently sometimes fornication comes without consequences. Seriously, least scary God ever. I don't think I've ever heard a theistic idea. Does this even count? Sure. Yeah, I haven't heard a theistic idea this unimpressive ever. It's perfect. I love it.
Fornication brings trouble, doesn't it, baby?
Well, no, not always. This is not some universal airtight principle. It doesn't really depend on some all-knowing, all-powerful spaceship god enforcing his will upon you. It depends more on just random crap that happens in real life. This idea that you need to understand spaceship god to avoid all this is redundant in the extreme.
Same as adultery. Because I know someone would be like, oh, well, you could be married and the same thing can happen. Well, that's why you pray and wait for the right person that the Creator has for you.
Okay, and what if you do that and then you still get an STD? Or you still end up divorced 5 years later and pay child support? Oh, but that won't happen, right, if you really prayed properly. The fact that it didn't work shows that you didn't do it right. Credit Spaceship God with the successes, but never the failures. That's how it is, isn't it? I kind of love the implication of this, though, that Spaceship God is like twiddling dials to steer people into each other. He's practicing artificial selection. It's like a big zoo, and he's artificially introducing people to each other so they'll mate with each other, like zookeepers mating pandas or something. But only if you call ahead and ask him to do it, okay? You gotta set up the appointment. He's a busy god.
But, y'all ain't got no patience. Y'all don't want to wait. And I know I get it. It's natural. It's human nature to not have patience. I get it. But that's why we come here to prison planet Earth and we learn and we grow.
Prison planet Earth. So it is basically just a big zoo. What's the point of it? Just a hobby? Something for Space God to pass the time when Galactic Parliament is out of session?
We learn and we grow.
I've learned a lot, thank you. I really appreciate your help with this. Alright, that was something else. If you like the channel, please do consider supporting. My supporters are the reason that I can keep doing this. Thank you so much to all of you. See you next time.